Hello, my wonderful students. Welcome to the class today. The topic before us today is a very important topic, and I want you to settle down, grab your writing materials, and do away with all forms of distractions around you. You need to get the best from this topic today. Okay? By the way, I am Mr. Oladejo, and the topic before us today is formal letter. Formal letter. Alright? At the end of this lesson, you should be able to define what formal letter is. Number 2, you should be able to mention types of formal letter. Number 3, you should be able to state the format of a formal letter. And number 4, you should be able to write a formal letter. Now let's look at formal letters. Formal letters are official or business letters written in formal styles to officials on different subject matters. Formal letters are what? Official or business letters written in a formal style to officials on different subject matters. Alright? Now examples of formal letter. We can have a letter of application, a letter to an editor of a newspaper or magazine, a letter to a principal or police or public officer, a letter to a business house or organization, a response to an advertisement in a paper, and a letter of complaint to a company or a public organization. Okay, these are few examples of formal letter. You can also have more, as much as you want. Okay, now let's look at the features of formal letter. Number 1, you need to know it has writer's address, the date, the designation and recipient address, salutation and introduction. Okay, then we also have the body of the letter, the conclusion, subscription, the signature and the closing. These 10 features are very important, and you need to note how they are being placed in formal letters. Okay, now let's look at the first one, writer's address. The first thing to write is your address, that is the address of the writer. We usually write the address on the top right hand side of the page. Top right hand side of the page, like around here. Okay, let's assume this is our page. You have your letter, your writer's address at the top right hand side of the page. The address should be accurate and complete. Okay, if the recipient of the letter is in another country, do not forget to write a country as well in the address. Okay, we'll go further to the sample of a formal letter. You will understand what I mean by that in the address. Let's move on. The next one, the date. Just below the address, we write the date. Don't forget, we said our letter will be at the top right hand corner. So just below your address, you have your date. Okay, this allows the reader to have reference as to when the address was written or when the letter was written. Okay, you can then relate better to the contents of the letter. So make sure your address come below your date, come below the address. All right, the next one, designation and recipient address. The recipient address comes immediately after. Let's assume we have our writer's address here. By the top, just below your writer's address and left hand side, we'll have what? The recipient's address. Okay, write out the office of the recipient that your recipient occupy. Number 1, for example, the chairman. We have the chairman right here, then the minister, etc. So you can see it will not be followed by the official address, which will be here. Okay, So this is an example of a designation, a minister, the chairman, the principal, on and on and on. Alright? Now the salutation must be written as dear sir or dear madam, as the case may be. So the salutation is very, very important. You cannot mention the recipient of your letter as if you are in a formal, as if you are in an informal setting. So it has to be written this way: dear sir or dear madam or dear ma, as the case may be. Okay? Now the introduction. The introductory paragraph must be formal and direct to the point. Do not greet. Do not greet. It must be formal and direct. And when I say do not greet, in writing a formal letter, don't make the mistake of saying how are you, how is family, how is no. It's not allowed in formal setting, in a formal letter. And so in your introductory paragraph, you have to be straight and direct to the point. There is no need for greeting. Okay? The next one, the body of the letter. The body of the letter must be carefully structured. I repeat, carefully structured in paragraphs. In what? In paragraphs. With the points in each paragraph well developed and in formal language. So you need to understand the body of your letter must be carefully structured in paragraphs with your points. Each point be placed well in paragraphs and well developed. So when you are composing the body of your letter, you make a point and you explain it. You develop the point in a formal language. Alright? The next one, the conclusion. In the conclusive paragraph, sum up the reason for writing letter. You need to sum up the reason for writing the letter. That is to say, you summarize the letter. There is no need for sending regards because it's a formal letter. Do not send regard. Who can remind us? There was one I said before now. Do not do what? Do not greet. Yes, good. You are correct. Do not greet in your words, in your introductory paragraph. And so the next do not is what? Do not send regards. Okay. Number 8, the next one, the subscription. The recommended subscription for formal letter is yours faithfully. Yours faithfully. And end it with a comma. End it with what? A comma. Okay. Now look at the way it has been written. We have a capital Y and we also have what? A small letter F. Okay. These two things are very, very important. Don't mind this quotation, it's because we have it in between letters here. But it should be written as yours faithfully. Okay? And you end it with what? A comma. There must be no apostrophe or before or after S. Look at this right here. People make that mistake of writing yours and then they will put apostrophe. Yours, then they will write faithfully and so on. Do not make that mistake of putting apostrophe. It is very, very wrong. Okay? It should be written as yours faithfully. The closing and the signature. Writer's full name should be written. That's your first name and your other names. And then you end it with a full stop immediately after your subscription. Okay? To be followed by, that's why we say after your subscription, yours faithfully, you end it with what? A comma. So after that comma, right here, then you now have your closing and signature under it. That is your name, your full name, and then you end it with a full stop, and then your signature comes under the name. Okay? Writing a formal letter. Now, when you're writing a formal letter, it is a good idea to arrange your ideas fairly and clearly. You arrange your ideas fairly and clearly. Now, you need to bear in mind something. I call it APS. When you're writing a formal letter, APS. Everybody say APS. Yes. What does APS stand for? Your audience, your purpose, and style. These three things are very, very important when you're writing a formal letter. You bear in mind your audience, that is the person that is reading your letter or the person you're writing to, and then your purpose and your style. Okay? Now, taking APS into consideration will affect the way you write your letter. When you consider the first one, audience, your audience, who you are writing to, in this case, you are writing an official letter, okay? Your relationship with the receiver of the letter has no direct impact on how you write. Your relationship with the person is not necessary here. And so, make sure you remember you are writing an official letter. There should be no form of formality. Yeah, there should be no form of informality. Yes, we are formal, we are close. Your relationship there should not be seen in the official letter. Okay? And the next one, the purpose. What is your purpose? Why are you writing the letter? What is the letter for? So you need to understand when you are writing, what is the purpose of your writing? Why are you writing the letter, or what is the letter for? So the purpose needs to be taken into consideration. The style. What style of writing is therefore appropriate? Since we are discussing on formal letter now, the style of your writing must be formal. It must be formal, strictly formal. Okay? Now you need to understand that casual language and short forms like isn't, won't, it, have are not allowed. They are not allowed. Casual language, not allowed. Short forms like isn't, won't, they're not allowed. Instead of writing in short forms, you write them in full like is not. Is not is the full form of isn't. Will not, the full form of what, won't. It is, I have. It's better you write in full like that. Do not write in short forms. Okay? The title of the formal letter can be structured in two ways. Yes, the title of a formal letter can be structured in two ways. Number one, capitalization of the first letters of content words only. Content words only. I will explain what I mean by content words, and then you underline the title. Now, when we get to the sample of formal letter, I will explain to you better what we mean by content words only. Okay? The second way you can structure your title in formal letter, all the letters should be in capital letter without the need to underline. So when you write the title of your formal letter in capital letters, if they are all capitalized, there is no need to underline. Alright? Now let's look at the format of a formal letter. The format. What is expected in a formal letter? The address of the sender, the date, that's the next thing. After the date, the name of the addressee. The next thing, the address of the addressee. Then after that, you have your salutation. Then you have the subject, and then your introduction, your body, your conclusion, and sender's name. Alright, so this will be the format of a formal letter. Now, let's go back to the sample formal letter now. This is a sample of a formal letter. Like we said earlier, the writer's address must be at the what? Top left right hand side corner, where we have the receiver or the recipient address at the what? At the left hand side of your page. Okay, now look at these. You can see our address here. I will be noting down some things you need to jot down, things that are very, very important so that you don't make a mistake. Your punctuation mark, you can see our comma here, and full stop here. Very, very important. So after your address, we said below it we have what? Our date. You can see your date here. This is our address, this is our date right here, and then with a full stop ending it. So you note where you see a comma here. So note all these things I am underlining so that when you're writing your own, You will not make mistake. And then just below, directly below and opposite the writer's address, we have what? The recipient's address, the manager. That is the title of what? The recipient. Okay, then you write the full address. Note this punctuation mark as well, very, very important. We have our full stop here, and then we have the salutation, dear sir. Okay, now we have the title of your formal letter. Look at these. I have two titles here. I did this intentionally. It's supposed to be one, but remember I said there are two ways you can write your title. It's either you write them in capital letters in full, or you write it this way: new branch at QPR Colony. Now remember I said content words only. These are our content words. They are in their first letter as capital letter. At is not a content word, that's why we don't have it here. Okay, so if you're writing it this way, it must be underlined. I repeat, if you're writing it this way, it must be what? Underlined. But if you're writing it in this way, no need to underline. Underlining is not needed right here. Okay, now look at the body of the letter. We are glad to announce the grand opening of a branch of our company in QPR Colony, Ibadan, on December 5, 2019. Okay, now look, if you see there is nothing like greeting. How are you, the manager? No. It's a formal letter. No need to greet at all. Okay, let's continue with the letter. As a respected client, we are extremely delighted to inform you that this branch is also fully efficient. It offers various solutions to your problems and anything that you would ask for. We are dedicated to providing you with the best service that you deserve. We would be very happy to have you as our guest in our branch and encourage you to find more of our products. Looking forward to your visit to our new branch. Now, if you look at the body, we have the points of the letters. You can see this is the first point in paragraph, and then you have another point here in the paragraph, you have another point here, and you have another point here. The points are arranged in paragraphs, well structured. Can you see? Well structured. Not that my paragraph starts here and then another paragraph starts here. No, they are well structured, well indented. Yes. Okay, then we have the closing remark, thank you, and then you have these, yours faithfully. You can see how it is being written, and it's followed by what? A comma. Then you have your full name and your signature. All right, so that will be the end of the class today. Or further references, you want to study more, you can check through these references and make sure this assignment is before you. It's very, very important that you do it. You study the sample format letter given above and state the features of a formal letter. So you have to study the sample formal letter you have been given here, study it, and you do what? You state the features of a formal letter. You submit your answer to this email below right here. Okay, make sure that there are no mistakes when you are copying out the email, so as to avoid error in sending your email. You're sending your assignments to me. Okay, today we have come to the end of this class. I wish to see you next class. Have a lovely day.